okay. How are you?
Uh,
Okay, go scream.
I'm good.
Well, happy to be your host here today. I'm Hong, and today we have with us some familiar faces. This is Annie.
Jane.
We're the regulars here, but my first time hosting, so hopefully this is gonna be turn out good. So when we record this, it's in the middle of tax season. Are you guys? I'm so
Right. Tax season.
I'm still trying to get my tax done, which is like I don't know when I'm gonna get it done. It's crazy.
You haven't gotten your taxes.
No, I haven't.
You're supposed to be the responsible adult role
You know,
model.
like in my household, I'm the one that handle all of the paperwork, all of the finances, all the bills, and all the tax and all that stuff. Which I feel like, fortunately, that I'm the one. Because if I leave it up to my husband, I don't think it will ever get done. So that says a lot about your experience with finances. Growing up, it's probably gonna relate to how you handle things as an adult now. Because I have a business and I have like a lot of stuff going on, so it takes much longer to get it done.
Okay, fair enough.
But anyway, so today, since we're like talking about finances, we just shared just right before we start recording how crazy expensive it is to live in California, and for younger people like adults like us. Now is at a phase, us, including me. I'm still young. um, like it's stressful, right? Trying to find a house or trying to be financial stable
Yeah.
here in California. Don't you agree?
Yeah.
For sure, right?
Yeah.
And I think it probably, for sure, not probably, we will create a lot of stress. It's going to affect your mental health. So today we're just wanted to take one session just to share our personal experience and also our thoughts about how our financial experience really shaped who we are, or how does it relate to our mental health at the current stage. I think that's important, and I think also financial is such a big part of our life. Sometimes it's so stressful that we don't address it. We just kind of like push it to the back of the mind, just work. But then when you go back at the end of the day, after all the workings, okay, where's my money?
Yeah.
Like, how is it I don't have anything in my bank? All this stuff.
I do feel like mental health is like, talking about mental health, right, is on the rise. But I don't often hear people talk about how finances and personal finances relate to your mental health.
Right. Yeah, for sure. And I think it's a very big part of your mental health. It's just not being addressed enough, like Jane said. So let's start off with the first question that I have for you. Let's just start with describing your financial situation growing up. So how is it like for you, for each of you, with your financial situation?
I think from what sometimes we discuss this in the office as well, but generally it's like, what is the mindset? Just living in a constant state of poverty? That is the mindset?
Yeah, I grew up with no AC because the AC was broken. My dad we didn't have enough money to fix it. So, but it just depends on like what your parents are like too.
Yeah.
Like, what about you? What is your experience?
Because I guess in a Vietnamese household, I feel like there's not a lot of transparency about finances. So then I can't say, compared to the local poverty levels or something, where my family actually lie on that scale. But it just felt like we were always growing up in poverty or something, because, the extreme penny pinching sometimes, and, when it comes to like housing situation and everything, sometimes, I know it's kind of like part of the culture as well, but it feels like it would be defined as overcrowded housing as well.
Yeah.
How Vietnamese people like.
I think that it applies a lot to immigrations, family, first, second generation immigrations. I think a majority of families like us kind of like was living in a way that we got to save everything that we have.
Yeah.
So I feel like even though our parents do make money, but they don't show you that they have money.
Yeah.
And I think it's also a cultural thing. For me, I see now as an adult, like now as a family, like person with family to taking care of, I have to like manage my own finance in that sense. And I'm looking back at my parents and I'm thinking, a cultural thing is definitely so different because American way, whatever you make, you spend and you want to show that you have money or you have money, it will show. But for the Vietnamese culture, it's more like the saving culture. So like even if they
guess so.
have it, they would put it somewhere that you don't know. Like I never thought that my parents would have that much money when it comes to a time where they had to spend it. And I'm like, whoa, where did that come from? So in a way, it's definitely cultural. What about you, Annie? What do you think?
I think I had it pretty good. Luckily, my dad had a lot of support from like his white coworkers who taught him a lot about finances. So then he taught me a lot of finances. Like amount wise, like again, like they don't have that transparency because like they don't want me to like worry about too much. But then like I've learned a lot, and it's only because like I think as my role in my family, like being the younger one here in in SoCal. And like I come from a single income household, which is just my dad. So there was like that pressure to learn a lot about finances.
I think there's different ways to think about our financial situation growing up. I think from your dad, right? You have the knowledge of building wealth and how to increase like generational wealth starting from your dad's generation. I can't be too confident in my family situation in that regard. And just comparing the lifestyle and spending habits, definitely compared to maybe like a Western lens, it is much more conservative. But at the same time, though, it felt like we didn't have to really scrounge for anything. I think there was enough growing up. But I guess it depends on like who you're asking, whether or not that's like, particularly impoverished or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think like our parents definitely wanted to provide enough for us as children. So like they would probably never wanted to show or let you know that, like we're in poverty, like we don't have enough. Sorry. But definitely you can certain financial experience or growing up, you would probably create a lifestyle out of it. Because I think some parents are more like let you have everything whenever you want, right? Or some parents would be more like, oh no, let's not buy that today. Let's wait until when you earn it or when a big occasion or something like that. So it's definitely shaped our lifestyle. Was it the same way for you? Do you feel like your current lifestyle now is being affected by how your financial experience is growing up?
I think for me, like like my parents, like we live like very comfortably, but like there was no like luxury things, like no vacations, broken AC for 10 years, a lot of broken things in the house. So like we would like penny pinch there. So like living conditions like kind of inadequate, but not too bad. So like I would get jealous of like everyone like going on vacations because I never had that experience. Like I've actually never been like on a vacation with my family, or like I don't count Vegas though because
You can drive there?
yeah, you drive there, like it's not that bad. But then I think because of that, like my dad taught me like, oh, like seeing my dad's like, let's just save and keep saving. And then when I turned 18, we would start talking more about finances. So he made me start my Roth. And I think like when you're 18, that's when like you're kind of cognitively there. Because I don't remember anything like before 18. So when my dad
18.
Oh no, I remember stuff. But like finance wise, like being like, that's when my dad was like, okay, you're old enough to know. And so when he told me about stuff, like he kind of explained it in a way where like we like to take the safest route, right?
Okay.
So like for example, when I have my Roth, I spend it on like stocks or mutual funds
Wow.
that are similar to the SP 500, right? So you have little stocks of every company, and if one company goes down, then the other stocks are, you know, still held, like the stock is still held up by the other companies.
Yeah.
Right. So I like to play it safe. And I think that's why, like, most of my finances, I play it safe now. Like, I'm
Okay.
not going to ever do day trading because I am scared.
Yeah.
That is so risky. Like, I like taking the safer route. And even like when I learned economics, I was like, yeah, let's just take the safest route to the finances. And I think that's way, like, my lifestyle now has been like, okay, let's save. And I'm not going to risk, you know, spending my money on something where I have to weigh like a lot of like, what's that thing called? It's
Pros and cons,
not pros and cons.
cost benefit analysis.
Cost benefit analysis of it. I'm like, am I really gonna be happy with this or something like that? Like, it's like delayed gratification and stuff like that. But there's like a lot of things that tie into it. But yeah, just because my dad have like the way that he explained things and like, you know, making sure that the money is safe in itself and there's no risk in losing it. That's why a lot of the things that I do with my finances, like, oh, I play it safe. And that's also why in the business model of this nonprofit, I choose the safer route of keeping the money.
I think that's really good because at your age, I would never have learned or know anything about Roth or about investing in certain things. I think for me, it was more, I guess my parents, well, I have to say I grew up in Vietnam. I moved to the United States when I was a teenager. So like in Vietnam, we have more of a better lifestyle. My dad, we made more money in Vietnam back then. So growing up, I always have the luxury things. We go on vacation and stuff in Vietnam. But when we come here, situation flipped, you know, like now both of my parents have become low income. And then we all depends on social securities and whatnot. So it was just totally different. But as teenagers, I remember like I had to work starting at 14 to help with family situation. So then I kind of learned about financial contribution to the family in that sense. So like you have to earn in order to get things in return, because money, then I know money doesn't come free, because like before when I was little I always ask for things and I always have it. But now as a teenager, now I have to work for it. I have to help out in order to earn certain things. And then when I'm a little bit older, when I start like having an actual job, I remember my dad was making me pay for like the room that I stay in, even though it's our house.
How
but
old?
The way I was like 16, 17, 18 probably. And I'm like, what? You making me
A
pay
high
for a
schooler?
room? Yeah. So I was really mad when he made me do that. But in a way, it kind of taught me, like now as an adult, like you always have to contribute something. You always have to work in order to have money and to put into, or to, if you want a good lifestyle, if you want to have money to spend on things, you have to work so hard for it. And I guess I'm trying to teach that habit to my kids, but it's a work in progress. I'm not there yet.
Child labor laws.
Tough for a high schooler though. I don't know.
It is.
Yeah.
I was like, my paycheck was like $600 a month, and he made me pay $500
Wait a second.
for the
This is highway
room.
robbery.
Yeah, and I'm like, what? And he
Pause.
said, well, what are you gonna do with all $600? You know, you're in high
College?
school, you're not
Savings?
gonna spend.
College?
So he never taught me to, or I was never able to save my own money. I had to give it to him, and then he say, I think he collected, but he doesn't spend it. He just kind of like
You did see it back?
save it.
I'm not hearing yes.
I don't, not really. But yeah, it's a different. Yeah, I did not.
I
like
think that's
that.
cool, trying to teach financial responsibility.
Yeah.
But I thought it would scale down. Like maybe you pay $100 for rent or something, not $500 out of $600.
I know. He I guess he was saying that he's saving it for the whole family, and then when we have to spend as a whole, that's where he get it to spend. He made everybody contribute, right? Like not just me, but like my sisters, whoever that's working. And then when we have vacations or when we have to buy big things for the home and things like that, then
I hope
everybody
that was frequent then.
contributed.
I hope that was frequent.
Give me the payout, dog. Where's the payout, dog?
I see, like now that I would never do that to my kids. I thought like now I'm like, okay, I don't remember liking that a lot, like having to give a big part of my paycheck to my parents. So I'm like, nope, never do that to my kids. So what about you?
I think that growing up, I wasn't too aware of really strict guidelines for things like saving or, how much money I should be spending. Like, I don't think I was so out of touch or nonsensical that I would spend beyond my means. Because, what is it? When we're younger, if you're Vietnamese, you get Lunar New Year money every year. I think for a long time I subsisted on that. If I was at the age where like I could go out and stuff, like, or had to make big purchases, then, for example, Lunar New Year was kind of like our main source of income. And we would just take that out for any major things. I think that a lot of anything that I learned about finances, whatever little bit that I could, came from my mom. It's like, I think when I was like 10 or something, she was like, hey, I'm going to take your Lunar New Year money and I'm going to put it into a CD account. And then after a certain period of time, we'll get it out and have, gained this much amount of money. And I had no idea what was going on. I was like, well, I don't see it now anyway. That sounds cool. I guess that, yeah. I don't need it now as a 10-year-old. Yeah. What am I going to do with thousands of dollars anyway? So, knowing that after, getting into maybe high school or something, I don't remember when I started working. I remember starting to do maybe like part-time jobs or, under the table work, like later high school, right? IRS don't come for me, like it's too late. But, for that, I would always just try to spend within my means. But at that point, I was kind of like, oh, I'm kind of like a high schooler. I don't have too many responsibilities. I'm not going to spend beyond my means, but a lot of what I am trying to make and save, it's kind of for my own enjoyment. And I think that comes from like when I was younger, my mom, she would try to give us at least one vacation a year. And that's because like by the time I was 7 or 8, it was just me and my mom. So then it was easy for us as two people to just go on vacation. I know that, for my friends who had siblings or bigger families, that was a difficult thing to do. Also given that we were also visiting family on these vacations, but a vacation is still a vacation. So I guess I kind of grew up with that mindset of trying to also, save, but spend and enjoy myself as I see I can. And then it wasn't until maybe like later college, trying to, build my own life independently, that I sought out more information on my own. And these days too, it's kind of popular, right? Financial influencers, I hate that word. But it seems more accessible for us to learn about these things. I mean, the moment I learned about a high yield savings account, something that wouldn't just give me like 0.01% interest rate, I was like, oh, sign me up, and it was so easy to just at night tapping on my computer, open a high yield savings account immediately and just saving from there, that kind of thing. And then just learning a little bit more as I go along. But at this point, it's kind of like learning on my own. I don't think I have that much financial transparency in my family still. Yeah. But I think it's fine.
I'm curious, like, because I feel like not a lot of younger people at your age would want to seek out the financial, like, learning on your own experience. I wonder is what encourages you or what pushes you to learn
constant fear of poverty and homelessness.
Okay.
She real for that. Yeah. She is so real for that, girl.
No,
I think
the first thing that scared me or freaked me out about the American financial or just economic system was when I was maybe in middle school and I learned that one emergency room visit could end your life financially. And I was terrified. The moment my mom opened me a checking account, for example, I was like, checking account, good. But for example, don't dip under a certain amount in case I need to go to the emergency room for some reason for a broken leg. That is my rule of thumb. Yeah. Having enough money for like emergencies, or once I grew up a little bit more and learned how people would portion out their money and save, things like having enough money for so and so months of unemployment, for example, things like that. Yeah,
that's great because I don't think I ever think about saving or having like worrying about having enough money until I got married and start to have kids.
It comes from a place of anxiety, though.
Yeah. So even though I feel like growing up, I didn't really wasn't coming from a rich family, but it just wasn't never there for me until I had to take care of my own family. Then I'm like, okay, oh shoot, now I need a saving. And then now the older you get, the bigger the saving you need to have.
Do you think there's like a
because-
comfort in having, you know, a bigger family, or, you know, having reliable people in your family?
I think also, yes, for sure that. But also, I feel like our lifestyle, like my mom, this is my mom, like my dad is different. But my mom, she would always taught us, like, if it's something you like, just enjoy it. Just buy it. You know, like you work hard enough to earn that. So it's okay. If you have to squeeze certain things out to get what you like, then do it. You make up for it. You know how to make up for it yourself, right? So we always get the things that we want. We never have to, we don't, I wasn't taught to think twice about if that's really necessary.
ball.
So definitely it comes from,
Girly
some
pop.
sort of experience.
Girly pop for real. Shout
So
out to her
but
mom.
that lead me to the next thought, like because earlier Annie mentioned about how like having the investment and thinking about where to put your money or see if it's the value actually worth it. Like when you have to think about that often, how stressful is that?
It's really bad because I have really bad delayed gratification. So like how your mom said like just enjoy it. I'm like, if I think about it again in 3 months and I remember it, then I will buy it.
Wow.
I delay my gratification so much. That's why I'm like, hey, if you see, if you're watching this, you know who you are. But if you, because like, there's like these really nice dresses from House of CB, right? It's a British brand, and their dresses are like $300. So it's like very good quality. It's like some of them are polyester, but I'm like, I think about it, I'm like, okay, well if I see it again, and I can either find a dupe that is cheaper, and I think about that dupe in 3 months, maybe I'll get it, right?
Wow.
Because for me, I don't have that luxury to spend, right? My parents don't think that I am their retirement plan. They have a retirement plan, which I am very grateful for, because I know certain families, like the
Right.
kids are the retirement plans. But I know that because of where my dad's income and tax bracket lies, I always knew that I would have to spend on certain fees, right? So I paid every quarter out of college, I paid $2,000 out of pocket, and that was just my money. And then my dad paid and then I have to take out loans, right? So I already knew that I was going to be in debt on the start. That's why I have to be very careful with what I spend on, and I like scrutinize everything that I spend, because I can't just be like, ha 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 ha, oh my god, $200 dress. That $200 can go into my student loan payment, because I have to pay like minimum $150 every month for student loans, and I finally just got rid of the interest. Like now I can actually touch the principal.
Wow.
So like that's me like 1 year out of college. So then I have to scrutinize that. Like that is so stressful, because I feel like I can't give myself the time to really enjoy life, because most of the money I'm
Definitely.
like budgeting it out for like everything else, like
Yes.
house fixing, debt, like a savings that I would just never touch just in case something happens, because anything can happen, right?
Yeah.
And then like other things, and like there's family weddings, and going to weddings is expensive, because it's like, yo,
You stress me
what-
out.
150 per guest,
Listing
come
all
on,
these
California, what is this cost of living? Yeah, so anyways, that's why like it has a really bad effect on my mental health, and that's why I'm like always like looking like, okay, I have to take the safest route with my money, because I know that I have to spend it on something else that's mandatory, so I don't go into jail.
So let's say like in one day or like in 1 week, how much of your brain power time is spent
Yeah.
thinking about your finances?
1 week,
Yeah.
ooh, 60.
Wow.
60 times you think about your financial situation?
Yeah.
Would you say that that's one of the component right now that stress you out the most at your
Yes,
current state?
because even then, like, it doesn't even, like, when I think about finances, I'm not just thinking about finance and money itself. I'm thinking about, okay, California cost of living. I do not want to be in my parents' house any longer. Well, I love them. Shout out to you guys. But mental health wise, like, I want to go experience the world, right?
Yeah.
So for the things that I want to do, I have to work hard. Shout out to your dad. But it's like, it doesn't tie it's not finances purely. It's like, okay, career.
Yeah.
What kind of tax bracket do I want to be in? Like, how much salary do I want to work? Like, you know, for stuff for that. And it's like debt. Like, I'm going to go into debt. I'm already in debt. Your girl's 15K in debt. Actually, got rid of the interest. So 14,900.
My goodness. Do you even remember the number?
It's around
haunts
that.
her.
It haunts me.
Oh my gosh.
Like I'm on Mohila every day. So shout out to nonprofits and government agencies because they have the repayment plans. Like if you do 120 repayments, they'll forgive everything else. Just forgive everything, please. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So it haunts me. Like I'm looking at my budgeting sheet. I'm like this month. Right, I budgeted because I was like, okay, I gotta pay back my taxes, right? So I was like, I can only spend $43.
Wow.
And it's like, you know, on top of that, it's like credit card payments and sometimes helping out my parents. And I'm gonna stop.
But you know, I feel like you're not the only one with this situation, but the attitude that each person have with their finances probably gonna set you at what stress level you're at, right? Because I'm sure this is like all the way up here. It's so high of a stress level. I've also known people who are in so much debt, yet the attitude is like, whatever happened. You know, whatever comes, it comes.
Is this the cost of knowledge?
I don't know how
bit.
people
I
can
feel
have
like-
that kind of approach to the debt situation.
Dude, some of my friends my age, man, they don't even have savings account. And I get
Yes.
scared. I'm like,
I will say, I feel like you're sitting at a table where these two early 20s year olds are
I'm
doing well,
Yes.
but we ourselves do not feel like we're doing well.
But see, I feel like you're doing well, but yet you are at such high stress dealing with it. So it might not be, it's good that you have this, you know, like budgeting habits, spending habits, like saving mentality, all that. But it stresses you out so much, which is like, I feel like there could be other things. I don't know, maybe it's just me. I feel like there could be other things that can stress you out more than finances. I feel like things like relationships, like, I don't know, work, like
you do.
self-empowerment, things like that. I don't know.
they
They're
do.
not saying those don't exist
I'm not saying that they
either.
don't.
But 60% of it you said
they're
earlier
the
was
other 40.
finances. That's
They're the other
crazy,
40.
though. I feel like 60% of all finances is a lot because I feel it is sometimes it's not something you can control because like the cost of living in California, come on, like how can you have control over that? So sometimes don't think about that. just think about, you know, like what, you know, because you can't think so far as, okay, my God, you know, like it costs this much to live, but just kind of like live with what you have, I guess, with that. In a way, sometimes it's good to kind of like let it go for a little bit and just
In a
be
sense,
less
I
stressed.
think
You
I think
agree?
Annie is definitely like she thinks about it like 60 times a week. That's insane. I feel like I'm in a position where so basically, unlike Annie, I don't have student loans. So for example, month to month, my spending and everything is once I get my paycheck in, I parse it out to, you know, rent to my mom. So that covers like rent, insurance. I parse out high yield savings, and then I usually do like kind of exact numbers. I don't do percentages or anything. I just kind of like ballpark it by feel.
Yeah.
And for example, like I don't let my checking dip under 2,500 in case of an emergency, and then I'll give like another 500 just for like giggles spending for my serotonin every month. Things like that. And if there's like more money left over, then like extra into high yield. And that's because for me, in that case, you know, I'm not constantly thinking about my finances like 60 times a week or anything, but I'm just thinking about the goal of trying to own a home one day. And I think a lot of my fears and stress comes from just the overhanging thought that I could never be on my own. Like I can never be independent because the cost of living is so insane in California. And who knows if it'll get any better or any worse in the future. But just the stress of like, I'll never get out of my financial situation, my current. Like there's no financial mobility, or at least I don't see anymore. Not like what my family said would be possible and will happen in the future, like when I was younger. So that was probably like the most depressing and like anxiety inducing thing.
Yeah.
That and like if emergency happens and end up on the street or something.
Yeah, social mobility, it doesn't work anymore, man. I still have that hope, but they said no. Like, even if you go to masters,
not on our own.
even if you get your masters, it's like, was that really worth it?
Wow.
Yeah, things like that too. Like, for example, when I was in school, one of the most stressful things is that my hyper rational cost benefit analysis was that given, higher education, that is the ticket to, getting to a better place in life. But then realizing that that is not 100% true either. And the amount of loans and stuff you sink into, that you might take years to recover from that if you do at all, question mark. So then there are certain things where I feel like I don't want to invest that money because I feel like I'm not going to get the return that I want from it. So for example, like I have 2 bachelor's degrees, but I kind of abhor the thought of pursuing a master's or credentials or anything in them because I don't know if I could live that life, in those careers and make enough money to pay it all back.
School's a scam.
It's a scam.
But no, says the girl going back to go get her master's. I don't know when.
I was gonna say that.
School's a scam is a totally other topic, but
But you see, so I think you guys are so good at your finances at your age. Because for me, I feel like I was never serious about my financial until 30. Until after I got married and have my first child and went back to school for my master degree after having the first child and start to see, and I had to pay for my master program too. I think that's when I started to realize, oh my gosh, like all these money that I had to pay, where do I get the money? But my attitude toward it has always been, like whatever happened. Not saying that I'm being irresponsible, so not saying that I'm spending more than I make, but I was just never that stressed about how much do I make to have enough to pay for all these things. And I never really, like up until now, even like now having my own business, having a cash flow, working, all that stuff, even though people think that, oh, you have money there, but I actually like kind of like careless about if one day, if things are slow, I don't have anything, what's going to happen? Like, I don't even think about that because I'm just thinking, we'll spend whatever that we have. If we have a lot during that time, we'll spend a lot. If we have little, we'll spend little. And then the rest, it'll just, if you're a good person, if you're responsible, things would just work out.
damn.
So then because I feel like if I have to constantly think about how much I have to make in order to cover everything, I think I'm gonna go crazy.
Love
I
that
feel
type
like,
B attitude for you.
I feel like sometimes I'm not saying that it's good to have this kind of attitude, but you can ease out a little bit. I feel like if you need to buy that $200 dress for a wedding that happens only once a year, then buy it. Don't wait until 3 months after the wedding is already over.
I can't. How do you justify that?
Yeah, you can use a credit card and pay for it back next month. I'm just saying.
I can't do that.
See, so that's I guess it's just different attitude approaching like the spending habit. I feel sometimes, yes, it's the stress level is so high when you have to think about budgeting, spending, and then kind of like a way to lower the stress level, it just kind of like relax a little bit, just okay, accept the situation, and then okay, not think about it, think about something else.
Yeah, I guess like it goes back to that thing where it's like, me and Annie, I think we are on average for our age group doing all right with finances.
we are.
Yeah.
But then
We are.
yes, you are very
We
responsible with your budgeting and everything. But I guess it feels like once we are at this level, at this certain level of financial responsibility or where we're at in life currently, it feels like we have a bigger goal that, maybe the average person gets there when they're later in life. But
Right.
when we're here right now, it feels like we want to get there faster. And it's just not enough right
Early
now.
retirement.
So okay, so now that takes us to the next question. Okay, right, so you think like the older you get, the more money you make, for example, it kind of like lesser the stress about financial, right? But now imagine yourself about 5 years ago, and now that you kind of have a full-time job making money, what's the stress level like? Is it the same? Is it decrease, increase over time? What is like?
Definitely decrease.
Oh, really?
I think
Okay.
just in general, even when I was younger, a lot of life stresses came from the uncertainty of everything.
Okay.
So the uncertainty of, what career or what job will I have when I graduate from school, and will that be able to, pay for all my necessary expenses and everything. When that was still up in the air and I didn't know what I was going to do, that was a lot more stressful for me. But even just if something clicked into place, like job secured, right, housing secured, that does add stability to my life. So now it's just the impending thought in the future of, there are certain things where we're currently stable, but the situation could change.
Right.
But so then, the concern now is trying to make everything else more stable. So for example, renting is like, we live in a renter society, but that's not the best, right? More stable is you owning your own property, or, the roof over your head, so that if anything were to happen to your landlord, you wouldn't just get kicked out one day at random.
Do you feel less stressed now compared to last year financially?
Yes, because I was still paying school. Wait, 2024, right? Let's talk about 2023. 2024 just started. Yeah, because then
Okay.
I was like, how am I going to make enough?
Did you feel relieved the moment you got the full-time job offer?
Yeah, because it's like, okay, now I can have like a steady income,
Yeah.
and make sure that I can save up for things that I need, and then pay things that I need off, right?
Yeah.
Luckily, student loans, they give you like a 6 months gratuity period. So I was like trying to save as much there so I can get ready to pay when it started. So yeah, there is that, like, having that job is nice, but it's also like, for me, it's like, I think I'm a career woman.
Yeah.
I gotta like advance in my career, and then that's gonna take some investment for me. We talk about it in my one-on-one later. But it's also like, what do I want to do with my money? Like,
Yeah.
because like, it's also like, they're like, like you said, she had goals. Like my goals, I have a lot of goals. It's like, making sure that my family's okay, right? Like my parents, like they're fine. But how much can you really
never
be
know
fine in Orange
what'll
County?
happen tomorrow,
You
that kind of thing.
Don't. Knock on wood. There's also like, I want to own my own house.
Yeah.
I want to go on vacation. I want to go
Yes.
retire early, because that's why I'm
Yes.
busting my butt right now. Ooh, bug. Busting my butt right now for like everything.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, there's a little.
So
little
so
better.
you're saying now that you have a full-time job, you're earning more, your stress level decrease. But now I want to ask this next question. Now, if you think about the next level, like buying a house, like going on vacation, like, like going out of debt, all that stuff, do you feel stressed? That, okay, now how much more do I have to make to reach that next level?
I guess, when you're thinking retrospectively and telling us to take a moment and think, is it better than it was a few years ago? Like, yeah, when we take ourselves out of the moment, for
Right.
sure. Like we can say for certain that we're a little bit more stable now. But I guess, when you're living the day to day and think about the next thing,
Yes.
we just get caught up in it.
I'll always be stressed, girl. Like,
Exactly.
girly pop. Eh.
I feel like you're not going to be, it's not going to, yes, it's less stress, but less kind of stress, I guess. Because now the next level of stress is like, how can I improve my current lifestyle, right? So it's a different way. But definitely the older you get, the more money you make, the different kind of stress going to come. So, I wanted to ask, so now that we kind of know that we're going to get more stress as we grow older and make more money, what has to happen in order for your relationship with your financial so that you can feel more secure with your finances, or because to improve the situation, because we have this constant, like financial stress, like go. So what can happen to improve that relationship?
America gets better. America has a good healthcare system. The cost of living in Orange County decreases to something reasonable.
I seriously, America? I feel like America is not gonna do anything
I know.
for you,
I
like
know.
personally.
I know.
Yeah. They're going to look at us like, this is a personal problem.
Yeah.
Like, it's you. Womp womp.
Okay, I have a suggestion about
Okay.
an answer. I think for me to have a two income household, like for me, the moment I got married and have that additional support, kind of like improve that relationship a little bit because now everything can split, right?
Yeah.
So then, and I took this well before we got married, we went to this marriage preparation class where finance was a component to this class. So they were teaching how we can share things financially, and I was so against. I'm like, nope. Even when I get married, all our finances gonna be separate because I don't want it's such a big deal like talking about it together. But at the same time, I do feel more secure now thinking that I do have a support system if anything happened to me, if I'm out of job, if my business is doing well, I still have the other person to lean on, that my kids can still be okay for a little bit, and just that emotional support to be there. And I think it doesn't you don't have to find it in a spouse or in a partner. It could be like another person in your life that can give you that support. Like if it's not actual money, it could be a mental support in dealing with your finances.
It's giving history will call them best friends. But yes, realistically,
Right.
like that's also part of my thinking too. That, when I have saved up more on my own and then I can combine it with a partner
Yeah.
or someone else, like, because even currently right now, right, when you're staying with your family, that is like ultimate money saving
Right.
tip. But throughout this entire conversation, talking about just cost of living and all these other goals that we would want to achieve, I think it's something so unfortunate or sad about the fact that you can't be independent so easily. I don't know. There's something sad about that.
I say we enlist into the military and reap the benefits. Ah, my pronouns are USA.
Do you have the strength for that?
No, I literally cried. Like I looked at the high physical demands test. You have to carry someone with the ruck. The ruck
Oh
is like
my
75 pounds or something, and you gotta carry them like 30 feet. And I'm like,
What about you? What can happen for you to improve that relationship?
Die.
Financially. No, that's not the answer.
ah,
Wrong answer.
Don't know. I mean, dual income. That's dinks.
Yeah.
That's the life. Dual
dual
income,
income,
no
no
kids.
We'll talk about the next part on the next episode.
You don't like the no kids part, but
That's because I don't want to bring a kid in if I'm not fully financial responsible myself.
yeah, that's a whole
We'll
other thing.
talk about that
Yeah.
on another episode.
Anyways.
So are you also for the need a partner in life
Yeah.
as well for dual income?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Roommates. Roommates for life. Roommates for life.
And they were roommates.
I think this might not sound realistic, but I feel like sometimes you just have to come to the acceptance or to agreement with your financial situation, and let's just say that's all I have, that's all I make. I'm not gonna plan anything. I'm not gonna think about anything and just enjoy the moment. I feel that in a way it's kind of like, yeah, just for the moment. But at that moment, maybe your stress level or your relationship with your finances can be a little bit better, just for a little bit. And then, like, okay, next tomorrow or 2 days later, okay, I'll go back to planning and to being stressed about my finances. But at some time, just kind of be at peace with it and not constantly thinking and planning. And if you need to like splurge yourself on something that you truly gonna make you feel so much better, then just do it for that moment. I don't know if that can be a good suggestion for you
Retail
guys.
not for
therapy. You know what I do for
Yes.
fun? I window shop on Amazon.
Control retail therapy, not like excessive going crazy. But it's okay to do it once in a while,
Therapy.
right? Agree? Not agree.
It's
I
like, yeah,
guess.
don't worry about
Yeah,
me. Like
no.
most nights, I sleep fine.
Don't worry.
good.
I sleep.
The person that's 60% stress,
I sleep at 9 p.m. because I don't
Go
wanna do
buy the
anything
$200
for the
dress.
No, oh my god, no. I cried buying a $40 dress.
no, Annie.
There was like other things why I cried, but I was like, why would I spend 40 on this? This doesn't make sense.
keep the tag on and then return it?
It was a nice dress. I decided to keep it. So I'm working on it. I'm
Okay,
working on it.
good.
Okay.
Good.
I hope you go. I hope you go on like at least one date night. Every
did.
season.
Oh, I can't do that.
Every season. Okay, never
The
mind.
dog is gone.
Oh,
That's a long distance.
Oh my goodness, that's funny. Anyways, any final thoughts before we end today?
I just want to
session?
say thank you to Jane for putting this office on high yield savings. 'Cause-
Yes, I
is
learned
that
from her.
really?
No, like that's
Seriously,
a game changer.
I don't
dude.
even know how I brought it up. Actually,
You were like,
I've heard of it, but I never thought it was really legit until like
oh yeah.
yeah, until you told me about and like open it yourself and all that. So I'm like, oh wow,
no,
Yeah,
life
dude,
changing.
yeah.
hey, no, you changed everyone's life, dog. I feel
Fantastic.
She made my financial relationship a little bit better.
I did like the pilot, the guinea pig step, and then my partner though found the better account and then got
Oh.
everyone the rewards, like the referral
Shout out
bonus.
to
So
Yay.
I'm kind of sad I missed out on the referral bonus, but whatever.
It's okay.
we got
we
high
all
yield
have it.
savings.
We all have it. I have two. So. All right. Final thoughts.
Thanks
No.
to Jane.
Thanks to Jane.
Thank you, Jane.
Well,
Hope your student loans slowly decrease over the next year.
well, my final thought is that, like, yes, finance is going to stress you out. Yes, that's part of adulting. That's part of life. But again, sometimes you just got to live with it. You just got to enjoy what you can for the moment. And things will just happen. Things will come. Good people, good things happen to them.
Her type A blood is boiling right now.
Yeah.
I'm not boiling. I just want to say, like, I don't want to be an adult anymore. It's been 3 years since I've been an adult. I don't like it.
You don't like it?
I don't like it. I want to go
You
back.
can't even rent a car on your own yet.
Exactly. If I wasn't like Brandon or something, I couldn't buy scissors because I'm not 25. Like, come on. Help.
70 more years at least.
That's a whole other conversation of like how we can't picture ourselves living until we're like 80 or something.
Oh my
Dude,
god! The
I-
lifespan is like increased over the years.
Yeah,
it's like
but-
over 90 now.
But I
for
can't
an
even.
average.
I can't even think about reaching 30. I might just not 30. Like I'm dead.
Anyhow, thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.